لأني سأفسح المجال لأخي يوسف، وبعدها إن شاء الله أرجع إليكم لنحاول أن نفهم ماذا يجري، لماذا هذا، لماذا الشباب يخرجون من الشبهات الشهوات يأتون الإسلام، وشبابنا يريدون أن يكونوا على منوال من ضل من هؤلاء، نسأل الله السلامة والعافية. على كل حال، أولا سأعرفكم بأخي يوسف، ثم إن شاء الله نسمع قصته. Brother Yusuf, Assalamu alaikum. You are welcome, and I'm sure inshallah everybody is waiting to hear from you. First of all, I want you inshallah to introduce yourself to the brothers and sisters.
My name is Abdullah Yusuf Hoffen. My Christian name was Alexander Hoffen, and I'm from Cumbria, but now I live in Leicester, Greater Leicester.
Okay, little bit of your background. What's your background?
My background is I was born into a Christian family, which is the evangelical sect of Christianity. They're very known for playing music in church with guitars and for singing and dancing and sometimes doing things that are quite appalling to see. You know, dropping down on the floor and waving their arms. That's the type of background of church I grew up in.
Is it a specific group? Does it have a specific name?
No, it's just the evangelical Christians.
Okay.
Yeah, evangelical Christians.
All your family like this?
Yes, all my family, yes. Apart from my brothers, they don't go to church anymore. I'm the only one that reverted to Islam, to the truth. So, yes.
Okay. How did you find out about Islam?
I found out about Islam through one friend. I'll go back from that. When I was 13 years old, I took a trip with my parents to Saudi Arabia, and in that trip it was the first time that I had ever met anyone who was Muslim. My parents have a business, and they sell silver rings and dining tables and rugs and things like that, like an ethnic wear shop.
Yeah.
So they go to India and they buy cabinets and just these type of things and rings and then they bring them back to the UK and then they sell them. So that was their shop. It was called Farfetched.
Then you went to Saudi Arabia for this purpose?
We went to from London to Saudi Arabia, and then from Saudi Arabia we went to Thailand, and then we went to Bali, and then back from Bali to Thailand, and back through Saudi. So that was my first ever experience ever meeting a Muslim. Prior to this, I had been told by my father that Muslims believe in the line of Ishmael, and Christians believe in the line of Jesus type thing. They believe in the line that come from David. So I was a bit confused about that, but when it was only until later on that I figured out about meeting Muslims and wanting to understand more. So this is where I started from.
So what did you see in Saudi? What makes you, for example?
One of the things that I noticed in Saudi was customs and manners. That in the UK we have customs and manners, but these manners were very well ordered, and that was a big thing, because growing up as a teenager, seeing that stuff in church, to see people who were very ordered and functional, and it was almost appealing. It was very kind of comprehensive. The way that the people were, and they were so lovely to talk to you. You could just talk to them and they'd treat you with utmost respect. There's no race or, you know. So
you didn't expect this?
Did not expect that at all.
So what was your idea about Muslims before Islam?
My idea was, it wasn't anything until I went to university. One section. Bismillah. Until I went to university, and I was living in a dorm, like halls for the university, and in them halls I met two Muslim brothers that were staying there, Sayyab and Harun, and we used to get into conversations about Christianity and Islam, and they gave me a copy of the Quran to read, and I was reading through the Quran at the same time as reading through the Bible. And I saw so many things in the Bible that weren't matching each other. So the Old Testament would say one thing and then the New Testament was saying another thing. When I read the Quran and I heard the Quran from an audio tape, I thought this is a religion that I've never come across, never seen. So that's why I started to
Although you
investigate.
didn't understand.
Although I didn't understand it, I was a musician.
Yeah.
I used to play in clubs, DJing.
Yeah.
So I liked music. And when you hear the azan being called, it's just a voice. It's just a voice that is beautifully spoken. And the Quran itself is a book that is intact. There is English translations of the Quran, but the Quran has stayed the same. And that was really appealing because I know from looking at history, there was changes made within the Bible for the Roman people, and that got me really thinking. So it set my journey off to understand Islam. Yes.
And how did you embrace Islam?
I first embraced Islam in Ramadan because the guys that I was living with, they were fasting through the month of Ramadan. And they said to me, you know, why don't you give it a try? Just give it a try and see how you feel.
Was that give it a try fasting?
Yeah, give it a try. And plus, Sayam's mum cooks fantastic food. So it was great to be fed and, you know, watch them pray. And I remember the first time seeing all these brothers lined up. And I can never forget it. It's beautiful, mashallah. All the brothers next to each other, you know, black brothers, Asian brothers, Chinese brothers, all, and every time they would bow down and prostrate, which reminded me of when Jesus prostrated in the Bible. I saw these things that were almost what I could see Isa alayhi salam being. So I took my shahada. But I didn't start practicing until a few years later, because when you say that you're a Muslim to someone, the first thing is they think, oh, you know, fear. What's going to happen to you? And there was a lot of kind of ridicule and a bit of joking about me becoming a Muslim from just family members. You know, they had no understanding of the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't have that knowledge. So I wanted to carry on researching it, and the more and more that I went into things like Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, it's become an even greater knowledge that I've received, and my deen grew and grew. And I was, like I said, I was separate for about 2 years. I took my shahada when I was 18, and then when I really moved into the cities and I could actually see Muslim community, it was amazing to see these brothers all saying Assalamu alaikum, brother. That's beautiful, peace be with you, brother. You know, or wa alaikum assalam, and peace be with you too. When you read the Bible, Jesus says that, peace be with you, to the disciples. So it was everything that I could see the oneness of and the trueness of. Yes.
Are you saying you stayed about 2 years?
I was absent for 2 years.
No, I mean between the time of saying the Shahada and practicing Islam.
Yes.
That was 2 years.
Took 2 years, about 2 years.
Was it difficult for you to practice, or were you still searching?
I had to learn a lot, and I was very much researching. I was even researching things of like Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, and all the different religions, the whole world religions, to test what the Quran says, to test if it's true. And that took about 2 years. And afterwards, when I slowly started to pray, I used to come at the masjid, come through the back. So everyone's at the front praying. I just used to pray in the back, you know, and then go, and then so no one would kind of see me. It was a slow but gradual thing.
Did you, before Islam, you did have any girlfriend or things like
that? I did, yes. Yeah,
and what was the relationship? I mean, when you embraced Islam, what happened to your relationship?
That relationship, I started to see things differently, because we have in Islam a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have this sunnah, and unlike any other religions, we have a code of conduct that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a man of code and conduct and manners and beauty. These are the things that really stuck with me, and then relationships had to go because they didn't match the standards of the Sunnah in Islam. It was superior to follow the religion, if that makes sense in my case. So yeah, the relationships and friends kind of faded out a bit.
Did she accept Islam?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, are you married now?
No, I'm not married. No,
Okay,
no, I'm not
so
married.
you're still looking for.
Still looking, inshallah.
So okay, what was the most difficult thing faced you after embracing Islam? What was the most hardship that you come across during your Islam, or when you embrace Islam?
I think it's difficult for revert Muslims because we have a sense of identity before Islam and then a sense of identity after Islam. And people know you as one identity. If I was to go back home, they would all call me Alex. And they know Alex who was DJing, Alex was this, and this is their image of me. But when I became a Muslim, I started to practice things better. And this led to me having to change my family situation and things like that. So yes.
What about now?
Well, mashallah, being in Leicester, we're able to be like with Sheikh like yourself and other brothers. It's a sense of community that we have. The one thing that Islam was very, the 5 pillars of Islam, one of the things that really drew me to it was brothers and sisters in Islam. We have, this is my brother, this is my brother. We have this brotherhood. Christianity doesn't have that. I'm not trying to, upset Christians.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that, but being a brother